It is said, the first being Anu was the sum of all things good and evil, light and dark, physical and mystical, joy and sadness, the One. Anu wished to be free from the malignance of evil, and so separated and expelled the darkness within. But what is cast off does not simply disappear. Even immortals tire. Those that fought in the eternal conflict knew that better than most. A brutal, never-ending cycle of hatred that had burned for longer than the stars themselves. A war between the light and the dark, each side never gaining purchase for long. Few ever questioned their place amidst the battlefields. Fewer still had ever acted upon such thoughts. That was until the archangel Inarius and the demon queen Lilith made a choice that would change all of fate forever. Leading a band of renegades from both sides, they hatched a plan, whether by force or trickery, or perhaps some unholy union of the two. These renegades stole the most powerful artifact in all creation, known as the World Stone, using the power contained within to strengthen themselves and create a world all of their own, one hidden from the eyes of heaven and hell. This sanctuary knew real peace for a time. As demons and angels lived alongside each other, they would inevitably produce offspring. These twin-natured offspring had the power of both sides of their lineage. These first Nephalem, as they would be called, sets out to explore their world of sanctuary. The world would thus remember these firstborn only as the ancients. Quickly they spread across the lands, founding grand and vast cities, or even quaint villages in which to settle. The firstborn would produce offspring of their own, and they in turn, until the numbers of the Nephalem began to swell. Though they were long-lived, they were not immortal. Death would find them in time. The original renegades grew fearful and wary of these children. It became clear that the Nephalem had the potential to be far more powerful than either angel or demon ever could. It was from this fear that dissension first began to grow. What if they were revealed? It would mean the end of their sanctuary. Some even began to call for the Nephalem to be culled. Inarius called a time for reflection. They would have to consider carefully on what to do next. In solitude, they were to consider all the options before casting their vote. However, Lilith saw the Nephalem as her children. Enraged and fearful that the renegades would turn on them, she decided to act first. Transforming herself into a terrible beast, she would hunt and slaughter the renegades herself, claiming their life essence for her own. Inarius put a stop to her rampage, but he could never bring himself to harm her. Instead, with a heavy heart, he banished her from sanctuary. Once more he turned to the Worldstone's power, altering and reshaping its facets, causing the Nephalem to weaken over time, draining them of their heritage. As the ancients began to feel their strength slip away, some protested, only to be crushed under heel. Many just believed they had fallen under some kind of terrible plague. As each generation grew weaker and more diminished, eventually from these Nephalem, humanity arose. Smaller in stature, with even shorter lifespans, and only hints of their forebears' might. These humans had all but lost the knowledge of their birthright. For countless millennia, life went on as it should. However, magic, that was an eternal source of fascination for these humans. Eventually, This magical practice and study bore disturbing fruit. They revealed to these mages the existence of demons, the frequent summoning of which had alerted the prime evil rulers to Sanctuary's very existence. Seeing that humanity could very well be the decisive piece in claiming victory over the light, they vowed to work in secret, founding the cult of the Triune to sway humanity into worshipping the dark. Inarius eventually became aware of the invasion and would have to work swiftly to found the Cathedral of Light in order to subvert the dark machinations and preserve humanity's freedom. This battle of ideology would be known as the Sin War, a battle that would determine the fate of their very hearts and minds, a silent war that went unnoticed by most. The war had become so consuming, Lilith's return had all but gone unnoticed. She devised a new plan of her own. She chose one of the humans in whom the ancient blood still flowed strong, and removed the control Inarius had placed upon them, allowing his Nephalem strength to flow back into his body. He was named Uldyssian. He would rally many followers to his cause, naming them Eredrim, who would in time become all too painfully aware of the heritage and set out to destroy both the Triune cult and the Cathedral of Light, to be free from the war between light and dark altogether, who they blamed much of humanity's problems on. All was going according to Lilith's plan, but she had not foreseen that Uldyssian would grow even beyond her, not allowing himself or humanity to be controlled any longer. He turned against her, weakening her so much it allowed Inarius to banish her once again. But Uldyssian had altered the World Stone. Day by day he was growing in power, and this time he began a final assault on Inarius. The high heavens would no longer remain blind to Sanctuary. Seeing the Nephalem as abominations, born from that fateful unholy union, the archangels invade the realm, sparking a reaction from the primevals to do the same. The ancient war had spilled onto Sanctuary, and had now become a battle of three. The Edorim had grown beyond both angel and demon in power, a singular, unstoppable force. However, this did not end as many had predicted. It was in a moment of clarity that Uldyssian saw what he was becoming. The power was too much, too fast to control. He and his people were losing their humanity, the essence of what they were. Instead, he showed true wisdom. He would release his raw power, all at once, sacrificing himself and banishing every angel and demon from Sanctuary in the process. In his final moments, he attuned the World Stone once more, resetting it and veiling the Nephalem's power once again. This one action gave pause to the other factions. They had demonstrated an ability to choose the way of the light over darkness for themselves, and a pact was thus made. Sanctuary would remain free, its own faction. They would be allowed to choose between the light and the chaos for themselves. But the old blood still flows, and many have heard tales of the Nephalem reappearing since those ancient days. No one knows why the blood of the ancients will rise once more. Some say it is the natural order, others say it is out of necessity, but none really know. I hope everyone enjoyed this first video covering a game that's not World of Warcraft. It's not to worry, WoW content is not going anywhere, but there are so many wonderful stories to cover in so many games. I think it's time we started to make a start on them. I want to thank everyone as always for all the support. If you don't forget to like and subscribe for future content. Oh, and don't forget to come back. Anytime.